Okay then, so middle of May, sort of halfway through spring on the way to summer, so at the end of this we'll have a little look at kind of things that are going to be coming up, particularly around watching and so on, but mainly what I want to do is to actually spend some time looking at finances, real finances, because I think people, I certainly was, are interested in this if they're looking at sort of Liveaboard stuff. So we'll go into that a little bit later. Friends came down to visit, so we had a sale, which is nice. A few things broke, of course they did, so we'll have a look at fixing up a winch, and we'll take it from there. But one of the things I noticed on doing this YouTube channel, and as you know, I'm kind of doing it for myself, and then if people want to watch that's great, but there's this analytics section, so you can see where people from the world and which videos are watched, and the one that's been watched the most is the one where I actually talk about doing the finances. Now I didn't cover that terribly seriously because I actually had my money making scheme of a joke telling dog. The other thing that's interesting is spotting, there's a little map of the world and it shows who watches the sort of videos and things. So with my minimal linguistic skills I wanted to welcome people in the very few languages I can either speak one word of or about three. So for those in Finland, Tervetuloa, very welcome. In Romania, Magbukor Savakanosk. In Germany, Willkommen und herzlichen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit, and so on. And if you're from up north in England, well, hey up. And if you are from up north, I actually had some friends down from up north and they came down and had a bit of a sail and kind of enjoyed it, and it's the first time, historically it's the first time when people have actually come down and the weather's been okay, the tide's been okay, and we did go out for a sail. Admittedly things broke when we were out there, not too drastically, didn't really affect it, and they told me they enjoyed it. Nobody got seasick and it was a lovely day and we all got a little bit sunburnt. So let's have a peek at that, shall we? That's directly into the sun, so it will either be very artistic.
Don't make her nervous.
Some grimacing going on there. Grimacing, definitely.
It's fabulous.
It's like, hell of a power on it, isn't there?
Yes.
Those really, really big, fast catamarans must take a hell of a lot of control.
Oh god, yeah. And you've got to be so instinctual as to know what the wind's doing.
Yeah. This is not something you can learn out of a book, is it?
No. Can't learn this stuff from a book. Depends on the quality of the book, really, doesn't it? There you go. Anyway, this has got pictures and all sorts of things in it, so good enough for me. Yeah, no, a couple of things broke, but apart from that, very successful sail. The main halyard winch on the mast, we'll have a look at that a little bit later, and also the electrics jammed up again. I really just needed to take it apart and solder it properly. There was just a few dry joints, so the speed log wasn't working again. But on the way back in, I noticed that just as we was coming in, the local MTB, Marine Military Torpedo Boat, I think that's what it stands for, was coming out. So I actually went back out again to try and get some shots, and unfortunately it was a little bit sort of shaky, but I've got a little bit of that, which is well worth having a look at. They've been doing a lot of work on the engines recently and are going out and gently doing sort of test drives, and I think this was the third time out and they were just beginning to open her up a little bit more. Look out for more footage later. It'd be really nice to get out there at sea and actually get some videos out there. I think this is the only one left in existence. Yeah, so have a look at this. So the winch broke. I'm not going to go into detail about how to fix it. I'm just going to kind of show a few shots. And it's basically the main barrel had worn out, but I bought some new pawls, P-A-W-Ls, and replaced those. And in fact, took the opportunity to do some servicing on the other winches and so on. So as I say, I'm not going to do a huge amount of detail on that because there are better tutorials on YouTube, but well worth doing and surprisingly simple. Right, so I've got some numbers written down here. I've got them in pounds and dollars, which I just used Google to convert with because a few people do watch in the States. It's probably all my relatives, by the way. I've got loads of relatives out in the sort of Illinois area, so hi to all of you if you're kind of watching. and if you're strangers, welcome too. So let's go through the kind of the key expenses. First of all, cost of the boat. Mirage 28, she's 1978. She was in pretty good nick, needed a few bits and pieces doing to her, but the actual cost was £8,000, which is about $11,500. Needed to get a survey. Well, you don't need to get a survey, actually you don't need to, it's not a requirement, but I got a survey, £357, which is about $500. And then in terms of putting sort of extras in, and the big extra, which if you followed a few of the videos down below and stuff, I didn't do a kind of a proper vlog on this, but the Yanmar engine let me down. Decided I wanted to really keep the boat, so the big expense was actually getting the engine replaced with a new Beta, which was sort of, I can't remember exactly, just over £4,000 or something. So about $600, $6,000, what am I talking about? Yeah, $6,000. And the fitting and other bits. I had to get a dinghy, had to get an outboard, had to get a load of stuff like that. So the extras all in all, probably about £10,000, which is about $14,000. So that kind of brings the boat price up to about £18,000, which is about $25,000. The other thing, now here are the things, and do correct me if I'm wrong, anybody in the UK. This to me seems a lot cheaper in the UK than it is in the States. Registration, which is optional on the small ships register. Get this registration is £25, which is $36. There you go. VF license for me, which I needed to get. This included the course and the license. £140, which is $210. Very, very easy to get. You have to get it. The next bit, and I was going to check this, but I've forgotten it. The ship has to have a radio license. The boat has to have a radio license. And I think this is the one thing that you can get into serious trouble with. So I'm not sure. I'm guessing, because I should have checked this out. I think the fine is up to £5,000. And I think you can get something like 6 months in prison. So you'd think this would be a really expensive thing to do, wouldn't you? Well, it's £20 for a ship radio license, $28. And insurance, wow, I've watched a few of the USA ones. Now I've got third party and salvage insurance and legal insurance. My third party I think covers me up to £3 million, but if I do something stupid and sink the boat, that's just tough. And for a year, and this covers the whole of the EU, so pretty much all of Europe, for the year it's £83, and that works out to $120. That's slightly cheaper for me because I'm a member of the RYA, the Royal Yachting Association. I can't remember how much it costs, but not a great deal. And I'm also a member of the RNLI, the Royal National Lifeboats Institution. Very, very well worth joining. Most of the things in the UK are kind of on a voluntary basis, and we're kind of trying to keep legislation out of it, and it's really those organisations who are the ones that, the RNLI, for example, come and do a free safety check on your boat. They produce a lot of safety documentation. They're very well respected, well loved, totally voluntary. They're all over the coast, and again, if you look at my first 2 weeks of owning the boat, which is in one of the channels below, one of the things below on the YouTube thing, they played a key part to it. So they're a sterling bunch of men and women. I don't know if you can hear the steam train going past there. So that's kind of the capital costs. So what are we talking there? We're talking sort of 20 odd thousand pounds, which I haven't worked out in dollars, $28,000. For a reason why you can do it a lot cheaper, you can do it a lot more expensive. So how much does it actually cost to stay in the marina? If you pay up front, some marina, this is this particular marina, and you know where it is, and I've shown you the videos, and I'll look at that a bit later. $2,500 for the year, £2,500, which is about $3,600. It's slightly cheaper if you pay up front. You can pay in instalments, which pushes it up. That also includes a Liveaboard premium. Some marinas do that, some don't, but you can easily check out which marina does and which one doesn't. Gas, I reckon £10 a month, $14. Electricity, about £10, $14. Wi-Fi, I get through a little sort of 4G portable thing, which is about $15, which is about £21. in terms of legislation, I would recommend, by the way, I'd recommend this book, Voyaging on a Small Income by Annie Hall. It's very good. It's also got the Western Martyr £200 millionaire story in it, but you can Google that and get that from the thing. So, certificate-wise, I haven't printed out my my license for the radio. That comes, but I've got a sort of a VHF license. I've got my. This is optional, by the way, but I have got my international certificate of competence and sort of RWA sailing courses, and that's my boat registration document. So not a huge amount of legislation. People will not come and board your boat and check out what's going on. They will not check the dates of your fire extinguishers and things. You're expected to keep your boat sorted and up to date, and most people do, I think. And there are a lot of sort of boating type clubs and things, so yeah, that's that one. So anyway, enough of all this numbers stuff, but more later if you really kind of are interested in that. Summer is here, or at least we're halfway through spring, and watch it is a typical little British large village, small town. There is something going on every single weekend. This weekend I went out and there were loads of bicycles about. People were preparing for the coast to coast ride, and so I didn't film all of it, but later on the town absolutely filled up with cyclists who all set off to the south coast. Personally, I think these guys had it absolutely right. If I was going to do the journey, I'd probably do it on a BMW or a Harley or a Ducati or something, but anyway. And now that we've got the summer, the steam train looks even more magnificent, steaming on there through. We probably get 5 or 6 of these things every day, and you can see it from the boat, and it's an absolute delight. But lots more things to look forward to this summer coming up, and I will cover some of them, because it is so quintessentially sort of British. It's really like living in the 1950s, living in this space. There's a big firework display over the harbour, and there's a harbour fun week festival. Sorry about the wobbly video here, but this is taken from the boat, and this is a band playing up on the side of the harbour. So there's free music. There's also another proper that you have to pay for music festival. Just loads and loads and loads and loads of stuff going on. So it's a real delight. I should cover some of that. And the fireworks were actually set off on the harbour wall. So while we were watching this, we were literally looking almost straight up at some point with the fireworks coming down onto us. So lots of things to look forward to this summer. Things are starting to kind of go well now. Boat's getting sorted out. Loads of things that I'm going to be doing to her over the next few weeks, and hopefully a lot more sailing, and we just need some good weather. So stay tuned for the next episode. Well, don't stay tuned, but you know what I mean. Have a look and see what's coming up next if you want to. Thanks. Bye.